Back in the 60s, Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks did a skit called The 2,000-Year-Old Man. We've got something a little better for you. Please welcome to the stage the 2,000-Year-Old Economist.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's great to be back at this conference. You know, I've come every year since 37.
1937? 1837?
No, just 37. You know, for some of you, it may seem like you've been coming to this conference for hundreds and hundreds of years, but for me, it's reality.
All right, what was the registration fee back in 37?
It was 2 dried fish. And when you showed up at the opening reception, they gave you back half a dried fish to use as a drink ticket. Or if you were hungry, it was an hors d'oeuvre. I mean, what an amazing currency. I can't believe we ever left the fish standard.
Wow. What else do you remember about that conference?
Oh, and I will never forget the conference in 37.
Why is that?
I failed to make my hotel reservation in time. No, the registration period opened, but my carrier pigeon kept crashing. And then boom, every hotel room in Rome was booked. I had to sleep in a cave with a colony of bats and 6 other job market candidates.
That is rough. So you were on the job market in 37.
That year and for a few hundred years after that. You know, to some of you it may seem like you've been on the job market for hundreds and hundreds of years, but for me it's reality. I just never got any flyouts.
Maybe because there were no airplanes.
No, that wasn't it. I kept sending out CVs. I just never heard back. Incredibly frustrating, especially given the effort it took to make a CV.
Not to mention the mailing costs.
Yeah, you know, I'm on the market again this year. I'm only applying for 3 jobs, but do you think I should update my CV after 2,000 years?
Well, let me see.
Oh, I guess now I'm only applying for 2 jobs.
Yes, but you know, I am really impressed by your credentials. It says here one of your fields is money and banking.
Oh yes, very cutting edge. Money, banking, both very, very new.
And it also looks like counting. Do you mean accounting or econometric?
No, just counting. Very difficult before Arabic numerals. No, have you ever tried finding market equilibrium using Roman numerals? Actually, Mandie, this is my job market paper. Would you like to hear about it?
Honestly, not really.
I'm going to tell you anyway. No, I tell everybody. We have supply, we have demand, we set them equal to each other. I'm going to put the details in the mathematical appendix, and we get P equals 3. I mean, I really wish I could have included a graph like this one, but this was 1,500 years before Cartesian coordinates. Actually, this was also before algebra, but never mind.
Well, it is a good thing you didn't have to do any regressions.
Oh, funny you should mention that, because in the conference in 37, I was a discussant on the very first paper ever presented about econometrics. In my discussion comments, I said that I really liked the paper, but at the end of the day, econometrics just seemed like a fancy word for counting.
All right, well, what else was on the program that year?
Oh, you can see for yourself. I brought my copy of the conference program. No, the other way. You know, Mandie, given that you're a millennial, I figured you would be better at scrolling. Let me put it up on the big screen for you. There's the conference program. There's the paper I mentioned, the first paper about econometrics.
Using weather as an instrumental variable.
I suppose that interpretation makes more sense than what I said in my comments about how the paper was about using weather as a for. There was also a symposium on the latest new technology.
Oh, the wheel. Labor saving or labor augmenting? Is the wheel as revolutionary as fire?
Now, you could argue that it was more revolutionary.
Wheel business cycle theory.
This was a fabulous paper. I mean, it looked at whether recessions are caused by nominal factors or wheel ones. There was also, of course, the AEA presidential address that year. Really amazing. I was on 2 good models in a 3 good world.
Wow, everything was so simple back then. I'm surprised one of your fields was money and banking.
Well, you know, when you have only two goods, then it's just barter. But once the third good was invented, everything became about money. Right? And that led to the first ever symposium on macroeconomics. Nobody agreed about anything. You know, to some of you, it may seem like macroeconomists have been arguing for hundreds and hundreds of years, but for me, it's reality.
Well, what was that symposium about?
Gold. Gold, gold, gold.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. The Emperor Tiberius had just introduced these new gold coins, and everybody was going crazy about them. You know, the best way to tell if a gold coin was real was if you bit it. So they were sometimes called Bitcoin. Whatever you call them, though, gold coins or Bitcoin, people were putting an insane amount of resources into creating them, protecting them, counterfeiting them, but you can't do anything with them. So I said it was a step backwards, that we should stick with the currency we already had.
Dried fish?
Yes, what's wrong with dried fish? That was the title of my paper at the symposium. No, it's a unit of account, it's a medium of exchange, it's a store of value, plus it's nutritious and delicious. And with dried fish, you know, it's easy to have floating exchange rates.
Well, you make a really good case that was kind of a gold standard.
Mandie, I can't believe you just said that.
How about a hybrid? The goldfish standard.
Actually, that was the name of another session at the conference.
Huh, monetary policy versus fiscal policy.
The efficient market hypothesis.
How to fine-tune the economy when it starts to flounder.
You think these fish jokes are going to krill?
Holy mackerel, we're out of time. One more question before we go. Are you going to come next year?
Oh yes, I come every year. I can't stop now.
Sounds like you're never too old for the sunk cost fallacy.
You millennials, you think you know everything. You know, folks, when it comes to uppity younger generations, for some of you, it may seem like they've been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but for me, it's reality.
Okay, Boomer. Anyway, please give us a round of applause for the 2,000-year-old economist.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next year.